It's actually I never knew, Shiv, this is what you're going to bless me with. But all this gratitude just puts me a very lucky person. So many thanks for coming again.
My pleasure, Prashant. Anytime for you.
And of course, you've always been a mentor and a continuous one and forever. But I must tell you that I'm amidst another one, lucky moment, because a lot of my seniors here, my people who have seen me growing from my childhood, who probably have shaped me to wherever I am. And Sumesh mentioned about the dream of having you here, and maybe the destiny, as he said. But when they came to meet me, they said that why don't you come and give a talk? And then I realized that there is a dream which they have, and we have a person with abundant experience like you. And then I thought that having a chat with you is probably a good medium to bring the contest alive, right? I don't think it's going to be a fireside chat. It's just going to be a conversation, and put the conversation in with the right context, right? So Shiv, it was very enlightening. I think the message of technology being omnipresent is absolutely, the live moment as we see across the globe, including our country, and bringing the digitization significance only brings in more aspect what we should do. But I'm just trying to bring the context back to Palakkad. As we all know, Palakkad, largest district, I think respected MP spoke about all the possibilities and advantages Palakkad have, with over 30 lakhs of population, as well as having a good mixture of SMEs, right? Whether it's in the area of agriculture, manufacturing, chemicals. We also have a great setup of education, right? Along with the lots of colleges. I did my schooling here at Government Material College, I studied here. We have the IIT now, right? But at the same time, we are amidst the scripting of what could be and how could we prepare for future, right? Technology is one aspect. But I think for most of the people, when they look at from their own enterprises and being an entrepreneur, the question of innovations and being at the challenge of status quo, it's a mindset perspective, including embracing technology to it. And what are your views on that, and how would somebody look at that, and how can they, get some learning from maybe some examples and so on?
So I would say first thing is, whether it is a city like Palakkad, whether it's a business like the businesses which are here, whether it is an auto service, whether it's a retail unit, whatever it is, I think every business must innovate and must get branded. If Palakkad is not branded in the right way, then you will not get the kind of investment which you want compared to other cities. So you have to recognize that you are in competition with other cities to get investment, to get talent, and to move up the value chain. So if you take something like Palakkad, you're strong in, let's take mango, you're strong in coconut oil, you're strong in rubber, you have an IIT next door right now. How can you actually move up the value chain in each of this? Okay. What can you do in Palakkad around education, around health, around tourism? Anything that you can do which is a differentiator for Palakkad compared to anybody else. That's something you need to do. The next one I would say is that every city needs to have a sister twin city. And I think Palakkad will benefit by picking a twin sister city, either in India or somewhere else, to say, hey, we have a joint program. Each and every person sitting in this room, you are an ambassador for brand Palakkad. I don't know how many of you recognize it. So you have to do that. And you have to ensure that the Palakkad name keeps moving up the ladder through innovation and branding. If you don't innovate, you'll become commodity. If you don't brand, you'll not have value for Palakkad. As simple as that.
Yeah, so that is a beautiful learning point. Just to summarize that, the role of branding, not just for your business, because attracting investment is a critical factor. I think the role of branding that plays for Palakkad itself and an example of having a twin city kind of a model. It's a very interesting thing. I think that's a big learning point. Thanks for that. When you're on a journey, especially the journey of progress, and when you are a small enterprise or a medium enterprise, I think often one of the things that comes as probably kind of a choice is between growth and cost. Right? I think, should I focus more on the growth, or should I slightly be careful on the cost? The mixture of both. It's often it happens to every organization, but especially when you are an entrepreneur, this factor plays in. And in a journey where technology is evolving in a big form, when you're thinking about, every aspect that can probably improvise and evolve and build more in multiple areas like healthcare and multiple other categories, what's your advice on how should we look at from this growth aspect, so scaling, or how should we look at from a cost aspect or an investment aspect, and what could be some learning on that? It'll be great.
So the first thing, hi, can you? Yeah. The first thing you must recognize as a business or a city or an institution or whatever you're working in is that growth is absolutely essential. The opposite of growth is death. The opposite of growth is not, as somebody said, degrowth or slow down. No. The opposite of growth is death. So are you willing to face death? Be very clear. If you don't grow, you're going to die. A lot of Indian entrepreneurs, a lot of SMEs, they think, I'm 100 crores, I'll go to 105, I'm okay. You're not okay. Something will come and disrupt that. So the first thing is, have a growth mindset. Today, you can get technology, you can get access to, capital. The only thing you cannot get good access to is people. So if you want to grow, please ensure that you have good people with you. When I say good people, again, people think of people as, I want loyal people. That's a mistake. People who are loyal will not be capable. People who are capable will not be loyal. Remember this. So it's very important for you to strike that balance to say, I've employed Prashant for 3-4 years. He will do his best job. Then he might go somewhere else. That's fine by me. But in the 3-4 years that he works for me, I must do well. So ensure that you pick very, very good people to be with you. The element of cost. The thing about growth is never chase unprofitable growth. A lot of people are chasing unprofitable growth. Okay, which is unit economics, getting the cost structure right. In terms of cost, please try and convert as many of your costs into variable costs as possible. Do not indulge in fixed costs. For example, do you need an office? I don't think so. When I say do you need an office, you don't need your own building. You can go rent it somewhere and be there. Why do you need to have your own building with your name on it? Not needed. Okay. All of technology, cloud, every single thing, you can pay per use today. You don't need to buy any of that technology. You can hire laptops per use today. You can hire laptops for a week, for a month, for a year. Convert every single cost into a variable cost. Always focus on profitable growth. Anybody who's growing unprofitably will die one day or the other. It's a matter of time. But anybody who goes profitably will always have higher value. So that's my simple equation for you.
In fabulous points there. I'm just trying to summarize that. Having a continuous growth mindset is very, very significant. And it's not actually about a dilemma of growth versus cost. Right? It's growth versus death. Choosing right people and not getting worried about whether are they going to be there with us for 20 years, 10 years. That's not the worry. I think having the right people, and when they are there, getting the right work done. Right? And the third point, which is mainly on the cost part, which is always work on a profitable business, as well as try and see if you can get the variable cost as a major portion rather than having a fixed cost. Fantastic. So this again, thank you for. But all of this brings in another point, because I'm now getting into the market perspective. We spoke about over 30 lakhs population in the district. So there is a business within the market. And if I look at it, I think, it's a growing population as such. But maybe in about 13 years, the growth is about 7%, right? Which is much lower than the country's growth. So in the same period, I think the country grew anywhere between 16 to 18% of population growth. And I often wondered, being a Palakkad boy, that there is a large portion of probably elderly aged population as such, right? And then looking at a context of doing business within the market, or like Make in India, Make in Palakkad, right? Or Made in Palakkad, a market outside Palakkad. So 3 points. One is from the context of the business within the market and doing exploratory business outside the market, but created out of the market. And the thing is the consumer base of always feeling that we don't have youngsters, there are many cities who have actually looked at, on the thinking of that from an age cohort and the perspective on the market, business within and outside. Some views on that, please.
You need to recognize what you can do in Palakkad. So let's take 3 steps. Let's take agriculture. Okay, you have a lot of agriculture produce here. How can you go up the value chain? The first part of the value chain always is to give it in a clean, hygienic packaging. That's the first thing. Yesterday when I was coming in from the Coimbatore airport, so one of the roadside vendors at a traffic light was trying to sell pineapple with salt and pepper. And I was telling my driver, why doesn't he package it and sell it? Why does he have it to do it by the roadside? Imagine, he might start with 100 packets a day, but it's a start. So each agriculture produce, what can you do with it? For example, if you go to Thailand and Southeast Asia, almost all fruit is dried, processed, and you eat it not as a fruit, but as a slice. What can Palakkad do in that area? Ask that question. There's nothing wrong in it. Okay, almost all of agriculture can be upgraded. Okay, let's take services. For example, you have an IIT here. What stops Palakkad from being the best destination for, let's take, schools? Okay, suppose somebody set up a residential school, an IB school, got the best faculty, got everybody, and made it a destination. What stops you? For example, there are 205 IB schools in the country. Of that, 41 are in Bangalore. Okay. Now, many cities cannot grow. The problem with schools today is that they are all concrete buildings. They don't have enough land. There's not enough space for sport, etc. You have enough land here. What stops you from building a great school? What stops you from building a great hospital? Next, 60 kilometers from here, Coimbatore has a lot of old age homes. What stops Palakkad from doing it? Why should Coimbatore do it and not you? Somebody must have the imagination to say there is a business opportunity. And in India today, I stress again, in India today, if you offer quality wherever, in health, in education, in food, people will come. People are looking for quality. There's a mistaken notion that Indians only want price. That's not true. Indians want good value for money. And that's what you should focus on. So, old age is a huge opportunity. Today 12% of India's population is up to the age of 60. So, what can Palakkad pioneer technologically? Can you pioneer, home delivery services for the aged? Can you deliver medicines for the aged in a different way? Can you deliver healthcare in a different way? So, rather than seeing it as a problem, look at it as an opportunity. I remember when I grew up, in school, late 70s, etc., and early 80s, the biggest topic, I used to be a debater, the biggest topic we were always given was, is India's population a problem for India? Today, everybody tells you India's population is not a problem for India. 35 years ago, we thought it was a problem. Similarly, the issues of Palakkad are not problems. See it as opportunities.
Great. Once again, I think it's about the imagination of and the ownership that we take. Because every city probably has similar issues. I'm sure, even Bangalore had a situation where, right? But we have to take the ownership. We have to imagine ourselves. We have to work at it. And also ensure that, it's a continuous effort, right? So thanks for that. Maybe last question, but when I look at the retail market, and you spoke about it, online shopping. So whenever I come here often once in 2 months when come here to see my dad. And I order from Amazon from there and I come here and collect it. And by the time it's all here. But when I look at it, whenever I come, I go to some of my favorite shops, which I used to be here. And last time I came here, we have a very large supermarket, right, which has just got inaugurated and it's all here. And when you talk to some of them, the expansion of retail is actually happening across the country in different forms. We have businesses like jewelry, we have businesses like textile, and multiple aspects like that. Now, what's your advice in a phase where you have the entire commerce side growing, you have the modern trade growing, and you have the traditional retail trying to, get along with it? I think some advice on that.
Yeah. Great question and a lovely way to end the session. The first point I want to make to all of you, India has the maximum number of retail outlets in the world. We have 15 million retail outlets, of which 11 million are FMCG outlets. Getting into retail in India requires very little education, does not require a degree, does not require a license. Okay? You work on somebody else's money. You take the product from the distributor, you sell it to the consumer and pay the distributor next week. That's how it works. So it's a cash flow model. It works on rotation. Okay. Now enter into this technology. All of retail will be omni. Even a car, believe it or not, people will, in a metaverse world, will want to go through a test drive in a metaverse world. It will be omni. The question you need to ask is, why should people come to a physical outlet? And this is the question I ask even in Burger King, where I'm the chairman. I ask them, tell me why somebody should come and eat a burger here. Why can't you order it home? Okay. So look at the stratification of age groups. Young people want to be with each other. Young people want to be with friends. Young people want to hang out. Can your retail outlet be a hangout for them? E.g. a restaurant, e.g. a coffee shop, e.g. a mall. Families want entertainment. When a family goes out to a mall, they want to see a movie, they want to eat outside, etc. So what I would really ask you to do if you're in the retail business is, think about consumer experience. And how are you better than anybody else? If you are better than anybody else in that retail format, in that industry, people will come to you. If you as a retailer do not add value, if you as a retailer as a middleman do not add value, people will not come to you. For example, all bookshops are dead. All travel agents are dead. All music shops are dead. Why are they dead? Not that people have stopped listening to music, not that people have stopped reading books, not that people have stopped traveling, but the convenience of online vis-a-vis the service delivery of physical, there's a mass difference. I remember Connemara bookshop in Chennai. There used to be a fantastic seller in the Giggles bookshop called Anand. Every time I went there, Anand would tell me, Mr. Shiv Kumar, these are new books. This is a good book. I've read it. Maybe you want to read it. He would give me advice. If you went to a music shop, if somebody told you, this is the latest, this is good music, this is the reason, etc., you'd want to take it. Many times in the retail industry, we've stopped adding value. So do not think the consumer comes only for price. The consumer comes for more than price. I can assure you that. In Nokia, I remember when we did this study, a lot of the promoters, we used to have 5,500 promoters in Nokia. And a lot of promoters would tell me, sir, consumer comes, first thing he asks is, what's the price? I said, I disagree with you. They said, no sir, you check. So we went and did consumer checks. When we actually went to consumers, we asked them, when you go to an electronic shop, what's the first question you ask? They said, we asked them, what's the price? The promoters are right. So we asked the consumer, why do you ask this question? Interesting answer. You know what the consumer said? I don't know the megapixel of this television. I don't know the storage capacity of this phone. I do not know the screen size of this phone. But if I ask the question on what is the price, the promoter has to answer the question. If I ask any other question, I might look stupid. So then we formulated a new plan to say, if any consumer comes, ask them what do they use the phone the most for. They can use it for email, they can use it for music, they can use it for whatever. So when they came in after that, when we trained our promoters, if the consumer said, what's the price of this phone? Then the promoter would ask, tell me what do you use it most for? And if the consumer said, I use it most for music, then the promoter would say, we have a range of wonderful music phones. Would you like to look at it? So always focus on the need and build that experience. By doing that, our average selling price went up by 200 or 300 rupees. When everybody was telling us that drop price by 200, 300 rupees. So focus on experience, focus on the need of the consumer.
Great. So once again, repeating, I think focusing on customer experience is very key. And a lot of personalization and adding value to the customer always increases the value of experience as well as continuous shopping from that context. Those were some of my questions. Let me just check.
I'll just add one last one for you. How many of you have been to a restaurant in the last 1 month to have dinner with your family? Fantastic. Very good. Next question. In how many cases did the chef come and recognize you and talk to you?
Very few.
1, 2, fantastic. 3, 4. You know what? When you're sitting with your family and you finish your meal and the chef knows that you're there, he comes and says, Mr. Prashant and family, I hope you had a good time. You feel like a king.
Yeah, definitely.
You feel like a king. That's the point. And then next time I can guarantee you, you'll go to the same restaurant.
Yeah.
You know why? You want to be recognized. So simple things like that.
Thanks, Shiv, once again. We can take few questions from the audience if you have any. Anyone? Okay, so Shiv, I think a lot of the topics that we discussed just now, I think the day has a lot more into that and a lot more speakers actually indulging onto that. And once again, many, many thanks for coming here. And, I must tell you, I look like the biggest winner because I'm a lucky guy, right, that you came. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.